In the last 5 years, I've had countless conversations with contractors all across the United States and even Canada. And the one common thread that I have found across all contractors, I'm talking about GCs that are doing anywhere from $2 million to $5 million, even in some cases, GCs that are doing $8 to $10 million plus in top line revenue. It is this one thing. And in this video, I want to cover exactly what this one thing is and why this thing is probably, if you're watching this, keeping you from getting you to where you want to be within your construction business. This is also the one thing that I see is commonly undiagnosed among so many contractors because a lot of contractors don't even think that this is an issue. They think that, they have other issues. It may be operational issues or their team and things of that sort. But this is, I find, one of the easiest ways to destroy a construction business. And in this video, I want to cover what that thing is, why it destroys so many construction businesses, and 3, what you guys can do to not run into this issue. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lev. I'm the founder of Cosmosify, a consulting agency that helps remodel contractors and custom home builders like yourself bring order to their businesses so that hopefully these contractors that I work with can make some more money. I want to focus on this one thing. And if you're wondering what this thing is, I guess I'll just get straight to it. Oftentimes, contractors that I talk to, they tell me that, I'm pretty good at sales. I am pretty decent when it comes to conveying to a stranger who does not know who I am the value of working with me. And oftentimes, I listen to them. And on the surface, I try to do my best to believe them. And the thing is that in most cases, they are pretty decent. But then when I hear that a lot of their projects come from extremely warm referrals, or even slightly warm referrals, I start to question how good these contractors actually are at selling. And when I say selling, guys, I'm talking about how effective you are as a contractor at conveying the value of your offer, of your expertise, of your background, of your company to somebody who doesn't know who the heck you are and hasn't worked with you before. Okay? I want to make that definition really clear because selling is not, Wolf of Wall Street, picking up the phone, screaming at people, and forcing them to buy something that they don't need. That is not what sales is. That's not what, in fact, the way that I say it is that's not the sales that I'm interested in. What is the one thing that holds so many contractors back? Is it the way that they sell? Well, I would want to just zoom in on one specific part of the sale. And the part of the sale that I want to focus on is called defense. Okay? You may be thinking you're talking about getting defensive, or the prospect getting defensive, or the husband and wife getting defensive when I give my price. No. I am talking about defending value. Okay? Here's what I mean. Oftentimes, homeowners will ask questions such as this. They will say, "Why is the price so high? Why is the price so high?" And then you are left in a funk saying, "Well, you get what you pay for, right? Or our price is our price. It is what it is." And sometimes I even see contractors get into this funk where they're like, well, I just need to say as much as possible to show them I am the best at what we do. I am the best at what I do. But there's no amount of talking that you could possibly do to convince somebody if they are already of the opinion that you are not consistent with the value that they perceive you with. You guys get what I'm saying? You're not going to convince somebody that you are worth more if they don't view you as that. And so what contractors will do if they get into situations like this is they will just keep talking and talking and talking. But what I recommend contractors do is to peel back for a second and step into their shoes. Step into the shoes of the prospect. And if you're getting a question like, why is it so expensive? It's better to understand what the prospect is actually asking. And the way that you can do this, is by employing a defense framework. You're not getting defensive, but rather you're defending your value. Now you may be thinking, okay, well, how am I going to defend my value? Am I just going to, again, talk about how great I am? No. You're going to shut up. Okay, you're not going to say anything. Because that's what got you into this whole mess in the first place, and it's the reason why they don't trust or feel as though your value is what you say it is. Okay? So don't talk more. Instead, take in what they're saying. So I want you to acknowledge, okay? Yeah, I can totally appreciate the fact that you guys think that this is a little bit high. It's not the first time that I've heard this, and we've been in business for a really long time. Pause. Okay? What did I just do? I acknowledged that their concern is a pretty valid one. Okay? You're also flexing your experience in the industry and in the business and associating them with a positive label of people that you have worked with in the past who have also experienced this. Okay? So they're not crazy. Because what a lot of contractors will do is they'll say, oh, my price is my price. You think that that's going to make them feel better? Is that an effective way or the most effective way on a scale of 1 to 10 of enrolling a client to move forward with you? I'd probably say no. I'd probably say no to that. And so what would you do past that acknowledgement point? What I like to do at that point is reframe. Okay? And so we have a structure that in my T-Mobile days and all the past companies that I worked at, from T-Mobile to House to Better.com, Workday, objection handling frameworks were really big when I worked at those organizations. And we would train on these things on a daily basis. And the thing is that contractors do not have access to this information, number one. And number two, if they do have access to the information, they kind of just like let it off to the side because they're focused on operating the business rather than getting better and more versed at how it is that they can win more jobs with less leads. Okay, so what we would do is we would acknowledge, we would say, yep, totally get that. That's not the first time that I've heard it. And in fact, I would think that you'd be a little bit crazy if you didn't feel like that. And they're like, oh, okay. And then what you could do is you could reframe, okay, or inform with this next portion. And you could say, I'm super curious to hear, based on everything that I've told you about, myself and my company, what part of working together do you guys not feel the most confident in? See, when you ask a question like that, guys, you're reframing the whole entire interaction, because you're basically saying that, hey, we can have an honest conversation here. I recognize that there's a part of us working together that you guys may not see the full value in. And so I'm curious what that is. Do you feel as though I'm not going to be the most communicative on the project? Have you spoken with other contractors, and do you feel as though that we're pretty much apples to apples and I just have a higher price than they do? Right? And this is where so many contractors get stuck, is because they will actually believe that they are not much better than the competition that's out there. And so it's important to ask this question so that you can get into power position and learn what the actual objection is, what the actual issue is. what the actual concern is. And once you get to the bottom of it and they say, well, it's not that. I think that, you're great. It's just, this other gentleman who came in and, he bid the project, he was about, 18 to 20% less than you. I just, it's hard for me to see exactly what you're going to do differently. And this is where you can lean in, guys. You can lean in, you can say, look, fundamentally, I don't even know if we're going to do that much differently. I think that what you're looking for is for somebody to build your home from the ground up or remodel your home, take it down to the studs, and beautify it. And you guys have your plans, right? And you're working with a designer. You have a very clear vision of how it is that you want to get this done. I really just believe that it is a matter of your confidence in our ability to get the job done. And so I guess on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being I want to work with you right now and 1 being I want you out of my house, how confident do you feel in our ability to deliver that value for you? And they'll say, well, I feel like you would do a really good job. Okay, then what would keep us from working together on this? And they'll say the price. And you can say, okay, well, is it only the price? Is it primarily the price? And they'll be like, yeah, it's primarily the price. Okay, so if Bob and I or Dan and I were the exact same price, we came in at the exact same bid, who would you move forward with? Myself or Dan? And then they would say, well, you. Okay, and why is that? Well, the reason why that is because of this, 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 and this. And then they'll start listing all the reasons why you're actually a better fit, a better contractor. That'll be your ammunition. And then you'll say, right, okay, if those are all the reasons that you feel like we're going to be a good fit, can you appreciate or can you understand why we're 18% above Dan? Right? Because the things that you just mentioned are the reasons why we are a bit more pricey. And we're okay with that because we know the value of the service that we're going to provide. And look, you guys seem like reasonable people. You don't seem like people who want to undercut, yourselves on the space that you call home, the space that you're going to be creating memories in for the next, decade. And so, realistically speaking, wouldn't you rather get the project done with someone you feel 110% confident in? Yes. Okay. So maybe what we could do is we could look at potentially how it is that we could fit things into your budget relative to the selections that you make and so on and so forth. Or I'm open to doing that, but as it relates to the price that we're going to be, bidding the job at, this is where we're coming in at. And so we're happy to work with you. We're excited to work with you, but it's got to take 2 to tango. So what do you say? Are you ready to move forward? Right? And I know I just did this whole role play scenario, and it doesn't always go like that. But when I say defend, and the whole thesis of this video that I was trying to make here, guys, is that you need to be able to have the confidence to defend the value that you provide to your homeowners. And the only way that you can do that is by repetition and by putting yourself in uncomfortable situations with more of your prospects and having these conversations to go through this whole process with them. If you're going to back down every single time that somebody says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna talk to some other people," and then you say, "Well, they weren't a fit," and I ask contractors, I'm like, "Well, your close rate on cold opportunities is 8 to 12%, or even 15%." I'm like, "Why is it so low?" And they're like, "Well, because they're just not fits." And then I'll review their calls or I'll review their on-site consultations. And I'm like, dude, it's not that they were actually a perfect fit. Didn't you think that they were a fit when you committed to going out after 2 triage calls? one triage call and one Zoom call. On the third attempt, on the third consult, when you went in person to present, did you not think at that point that they were going to be a good fit to work with you? No, I did. Right, so what changed? I'll tell you what changed. It's that you shied away because you didn't have the tools in your arsenal to defend the value that your construction company provides relative to the competition that's out there. And so contractors, this is the thing that I believe destroys so many construction businesses because they want to focus on operational efficiency, which I'm a big fan of. I'm very big on creating systems so that you can, get yourself out of the day-to-day and, make more money. That's fine. But sales is the lifeline, the living blood, the heartbeat of your organization. And if you are supposed to be the best salesperson and you are the least impressive advocate for your construction company and you back down at the squeal of a homeowner saying something to the effect of, oh, that's too much, what does that say about your ability to convey your company? I'm not blaming you. I want to make you aware so that you don't fall into the same mess that I see so many contractors in the residential space fall into just because of the fact that, one, they're not aware, and two, they don't have the proper training. And so, guys, if you got value from this video, what I want you to do is take out a notebook, rewind everything that you just heard, and write down some of the points. Write down some of the points on that piece of paper so that you can use on your next consultation. Clip on a mic. Record your on-site consults with your prospects, with your prospective homeowners, with their consent, of course. And go in there fearless, ready to defend the value of your company and of the service that you provide. Until you do this, it will be very hard to scale your company in a meaningful way because you will be missing out on so many opportunities that are sitting right in front of you that are going to the wayside just because of your inability to effectively defend your company's value. That's it. I don't have much else to say. This is a little bit of a longer video, but if you got value from it, share this with a contractor friend who you feel like would get a bunch of value from this. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. See ya. Peace.